Greetings, passenger. This is your captain, Ben Pearson, the Roadster Tracker speaking. And today we're going to continue our installment here. We're going to not take off at the same airport that we landed last time. Well, we're going to take off at one of the airports we landed at. We're going to take off from Page, Arizona, on what I think should be a fun trip. We are going to, as you probably read through the title, we're going to fly through the Grand Canyon. And I'm not quite sure how this is going to go, but we're going to try to stay below the boundaries. We're starting from kind of the beginning to the end of the Grand Canyon. Technically, we're going to fly through the Marble Canyon, which is the beginning, but it's basically the Grand Canyon. If we have any major issues, we could bail out on Flagstaff, but yeah, I think this is just how we're going to go. We'll turn off the camera. We do need the checklist because we're going to start this from scratch. So we're flying the same plane that we started out last time. I know I said I didn't like it too much, but I think this should be better for an actual landing. We're going to completely ignore the navigation. This is going to be all visual navigation, hopefully. We'll see how this goes. Anywho, check the parking brake. Good. Power level is at idle. Check. Generator switches. Let's see here. We got 2 of them. Switch them to on. Okay. I wonder if there's a way to switch to a different checklist. Battery switch will set to on. What's this thing? Excellent. And the avionics switch, which is one of these, we're going to set it down to dispatch. Good. Now start the engine. We're going to push the starter buttons, which are these guys? No, hang on. This one. Start you up. Run. We're going to start both engines this time. We're going to shortcut this just a little bit. Okay, we have pushed the start button. We're running the engine and we're monitoring. Going to hope this gets up to 20%, and we've already done it for the left engine. They look like they're going good, but we're going to have to wait until they get to 20%. So in the meanwhile, let's get our lights going. I think let's get the lights set here. So we're going to turn on the beacon, the nav light, the strobe light. We'll leave the taxi off. It'll be fine. Landing light, we should probably have those on, and we'll try to remember to turn them off. Oh, the wing lights. Huh. We didn't have the wing lights on last time. Jeez, no wonder we had so many problems. We're going to mark all of these as good. The avionics switch, we're going to wait until we get to 20% on both of our engines. Parking brake is clearly on. All right. And then flip you to on. Check. And then release the brake, and we have completed our checklist. Excellent. We're going to turn to the traffic net. We're going to head west.
Kilo Papa Golf Alpha Traffic Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo taking off runway tree departure to the west.
There's a bus here. Okay, we're going to head off to the right a little bit. I'm going to actually leave the ATC off comm. We'll leave the VFR map on. It's kind of tempting to just take off from here, but you know what? We'll do this the right way. Especially since it's not going to be that hard. It's a pretty small airport. See no planes coming. Okay. Several buses coming, which I find curious. I wonder where they're going. This isn't a very big airport, and it's not a very big city. So let's see here. We're going to follow this down to our takeoff point. Looks like we're going to be headed dead in the wrong way, but what we're going to do... this right here is the Glen Canyon Dam. So this would be the Glen Canyon, but is now Lake Powell. Whoops-a-daisies. We're going way too fast for taxiing. That's fine. And then this is technically the Marble Canyon that we're going to fly through, and it becomes the Grand Canyon as times flow. We're going to go through Havasupai. We're going to go through the Grand Canyon. We're going to do all kinds of things. And I'm going to not go super low, but we're going to try to fly maybe 1,000 feet or so above the river the entire way. Probably crash. I wish we had gone the other way. That's all right. Actually, this is a north-south runway. We're going to... Yeah, this is probably better. We can go a little bit faster. Runway still looks clear. I am going to announce on the ATC that we're going to take off just as a matter of good practice. Practicing for someday when I may possibly, probably not, get a pilot's license. All right. Good enough. Let's see here. ATC. We're going to announce takeoff departing to the west.
Kilo Papa Golf Alpha Traffic Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo taking off runway tree departure to the west.
All right. Nobody called. Nobody's saying anything, so I think looks good. Yeah, baby. We're just going to get ourselves lined up and then full power. Oh, this thing is a pain to land. It's going to be nice to land it in the Vegas airport. But man, is it a joy to fly. Holy cow, this is a short runway. All right. Let's get our landing gear up. Maybe we should have had flaps. We're going to curve around. We're going to do something that would probably get us yelled at, but that's okay. Flying over the last little bits of Lake Powell. Now I have an updated package. Ooh boy. So there's the Glen Canyon Dam, which might actually be modeled. Oh dear. Ooh boy. We're going to be flying through here fast and furious. Oh man. Okay, let's get some more power up. If we're not overspeeding, we're probably going slow. Looks like we're breathing hard. Wow. I did not know that was modeled in the game. All right, there's the the canyon. Let's go a little bit more to the left. I'm going to turn on ISO map on this. So we're flying the wrong way. Here's the canyon itself. All right. I'm surprised we're overspeeding. Maybe it's complaining because we're so low. Well, we'll kill our engines. Man, this Marble Canyon is not that big. Looks like we got a bridge here. We're flying over. You know, this is not as exciting as I had thought it would be, but I think it'll get better as we get further down. Hey, there's a little airstrip here. All right. 5. I wonder if we could turn off those alerts. We're heading up and we're over water, so probably mostly okay. Ooh, we're getting some buffeting. Oh boy. Okay, this is a little bit better. Boy, I would never want to fly this in real life, especially not with as little experience as I have. Let's power it up. We're going to fly a little bit high because I do not trust myself. Ooh, we're flying pretty high up. Okay. There we go. This is better. This is the wrong canyon. That's better. As we get more into the Grand Canyon, this is going to be better. Up, we're getting into the overspeed territory. I should say about halfway down most of the time. Let's go halfway and let's just level out a little bit. Excuse me. Hang on one sec. Alright. Just putting this into pause mode while I check, make sure everything on the stream is going well, because I forgot to do that. I was so excited to do this. We're not in pause mode. Alright. So I'll do both things at the same time. This won't possibly go wrong. Okay. This is looking better. Here, hang on one sec. There we go. We'll pause for just a sec. All right. Whew. This is turning out to be crazy. Cray. While we're on this, let's just take our peek at our camera from the external. So we're doing decently well. We're still fairly high above the canyon and the river in particular. Pretty nice view overall, though. Let's try one more thing real quick. I've been thinking about this for a while, and I've been so excited that I'm starting to skip steps in my pre-flight check. I really need to have an actual checklist just like you do with the flight. Oh well, we'll just keep trying this. Anywho, let's continue. We'll fly like this for a little bit. It'll be fine. Get a little bit different perspective. I wonder if we're getting a little bit of lift even going through the canyon. Looks like it's the left branch. We're just trying to follow the Colorado River here. This super, super important river. I'm not gonna make that sharp of a turn. So we're gonna fly over this. Okay. Looks like we're curving off here to the right. Oh boy. Sharp, sharp bend. I actually have genuine no clue how close we are to our final destination. Been flying for maybe 10 minutes or so, so that should give us some kind of a clue. Alright, let's take it a little bit lower. We're not going to go deep into the canyon. Let's skip this S-bend. Trying to at least stay below the base level of the canyon, but we're not going to completely follow the river yet. A lot of this area, it's super, super flat, except for a few things that aren't. It has mountains that stick up. It has canyons that dig down below, but most of it's relatively flat, as you can see. I don't actually know what the defining boundary is of the Grand Canyon. Yeah, I probably should have got more fuel. This is fine. We can probably hack some in if we need to. %46 is not very much. Boy, if we were flying inside the canyon, this would be insane. Or inside the cockpit, this would be crazy. All right. We'll keep an eye on the fuel, and when we definitely are in the Grand Canyon itself, we'll check to see if we need to bail out. But I think we'll be fine. 50% of the fuel, yeah. We're going to go about half of our range, I think, by the time we're done flying through the canyon here. Now, the water physics isn't perfect in the game for sure, but it's not bad. There are some little discontinuities for sure. When we go in for the landing, I think we'll do it from the cockpit, but I think we'll do the rest of it from here because it's just a lot more interesting scenery. I'll close the camera here. We'll keep the map up. Ooh, there's a little fork in the river here. I did not fully realize this. Yeah, it doesn't look like it actually flows most of the time. This is probably effectively a drainage ditch. I'd have to see what kind of river it is, though. I'm curious. I don't know. We're in a flatter section. Let's zoom out. So we're starting to get to be in the Grand Canyon itself. I think this is the actual Grand Canyon itself. And it's called that. It's about a mile vertical down from the plateau region to the river here. So a lot of people go hiking. The river is at like 2,000 elevation. Doesn't seem too bad. But the top is, almost a mile higher. And so, it can be at 7,000 feet. You cross in October or August, September. It's, nice and good weather, maybe in the 50s or 60s, 20 degrees or something, centigrade. But you go down to the bottom and it's significantly warmer. So a lot of people get themselves into trouble here. This, I think, is the grand part of the Grand Canyon for sure. Boy, we're just blowing through this. We haven't even dropped 1% in fuel there. Yep, Grand Canyon National Park is straight ahead. This is just going to continue to get wider and wider. The pathway to walk across it, I've come very close to doing it. It's about 10 miles from one edge to the other. So it's like 15 to 20 miles by the time you take into account all of the switchbacks and all of that fun stuff. I've heard there's all kinds of interesting things down at the bottom of the canyon too. Like a McDonald's and some fun bridges. I really should do it someday. But it's definitely a hike. It's a lot of fun, but if you're going to do it, you got to prepare to do it. So I've been, I think along there's a lot of viewpoints on the south side. I've never been to the north side. It amazes me how deep the main part of the canyon is, even this far. You know, to go right over the water itself. It's a beautiful time of day to do this flight too. Absolutely gorgeous. So, coming through here. This, of course, this time of year is always a fun time of year for me, or has been for the last 4 years. Ever since, so 4 years ago, on February 6th, Elon Musk's company, SpaceX, they had the first launch of the Falcon Heavy, and they sent Elon Musk's personal Tesla Roadster into deep space. It's out going beyond the orbit of Mars. And so it's always fun to be, because my website, whereisroadster.com, has a lot of people who perk up at this time of year to go see what's going on with it. And it's always fun to, you know, take a look and see who pokes their head in. Wow, that's pretty. I never did make it here at an optimal time of the day. I really gotta try this again sometime. Been to the Grand Canyon, I think 3 times. I used to live only an hour away from it, so I made it a couple times then, and once since. Somewhere around here, and I don't know if it's modeled, is the bridge that people use when they're hiking across the canyon. It may be. I have a download pack to kind of enhance this particular area, so we may see some of that fun stuff. The ranch. So we're still very much in the middle of the Grand Canyon, although this is not really called the Grand Canyon at this point in time. We'll be passing over Havasupai Falls, which is it's a Native American reservation, Indian reservation. They allow a certain number of people to hike in. You have to backpack in. Has some very pretty waterfalls and stuff like that. I kind of had a chance to go visit there once, but I failed to do it. Probably should have done it, but oh well. I've become more and more adventurous with time. Opposite of a lot of people, I suppose. So I did not see the hiking bridge, and I'm sure we must have passed over it by this point in time. 45%. Wow, we still have tons of fuel. We're doing real fantastic. I suspect I did not tweak the time of day, but This is a gorgeous time of day to fly over this picturesque area. It's interesting to me how much less vegetation. It's actually a forest that's along the edge of the Grand Canyon here. But this part doesn't seem to have really anything. At least in game. Don't know if it's like that in real life. So this river, of course, really sustains life in most of the American Southwest, anywhere from California, Arizona, Utah, Nevada for sure. They all heavily depend on the river, this particular river, to feed through, to the point that I understand there's not much of the water in this river that flows into the ocean at this point in time. Tend to suck it all up dry. Some of the northern parts of Mexico also use it. It's also worth noting it empties into the Gulf of California. That's the Baja Peninsula. That little, called the Gulf of California, but it doesn't touch the state of California. Kind of little fun fact. Looks like we're actually at sunrise, not sunset, that I would have expected. So it kept the time from the last flight that we did, which is fine. No, sunset's in the west, and that's the direction we're heading. So this might be real time. I don't know. Well, when we get out of the canyon, we'll set it to real time. So we started at Lake Powell, which is one of the two great reservoirs along the Grand Canyon, along the Colorado River. The second one is Lake Mead. Which we're getting to. I don't know if this canyon particularly has a name, but we can call it still a part of the Grand Canyon. It still looks very similar to that. Oof, we're having to bank hard. Okay. Not hearing any alarms going off in the plane, so that's probably a good sign. Oh, we can crank up the power just a scooch. We're going to go for a slightly more leisurely. I thought my flaps were out for a sec, which is fine. So we don't have any trim set, but I'm perfectly fine with dead sticking this entire thing. The tutorials really try to get you to use the trim, and I'm sure if you don't have autopilot, it's a handy thing. We're in the vicinity of Havasupai Falls, which actually has a kind of fun distinguishing feature. It is the home of the last U.S. mail to receive mail exclusively by donkey. They go bring in everything by donkey to the post office there. It's the last one in the United States. We have started to speed up a bunch. Still maintaining about 4,000, which is good. I think we're gonna... Let's see, it narrows here. If I had to venture, I'd say that Havasupai Falls is just ahead here. So you see the river starts to narrow, the canyon starts to narrow up on, if you look at the screen on the left, I'm using my right hand, which will also normally be my mouse hand, to fly the plane, so I can't point it out. But you see just ahead on our flight path here, things start to get a lot more narrow, and I'm pretty sure that's where the waterfall is going to show up. We may have to abandon ship at this point in time. We'll fly a little bit higher, I think, than we have been. But I think we're still good. Oh boy, it's been a long time since we've seen any kind of a runway. Yeah, this is starting to narrow out. I think we're going to fly a little bit higher. Yeah, this seems good. So this, I mean, it's kind of a wide canyon, but it's kind of a two-tone thing. This feels like just surrounding mountains around a canyon as opposed to the Grand Canyon, which really does feel like it's dug out of one continuous chunk of river. See, the graphics effects may not be as good here as they could be, but it's fine. Yeah, I could not handle flying inside of this. It's too narrow for me. We'll fly along it though. It is surprising how much easier it is to fly in third person than it is in first. For most things. There's a few things that are easier in first person, like landing. But it's just easier to control in general in a third person perspective. Whoops, I chose the wrong path. We're just gonna skip this section. It amazes me with this plane how little of the time we need full power. You'd have to have a fighter jet, and it would make you sick to go through this with all of the high G forces you'd have to pull. Woo. Woo. Tired. To weep. Losing our map. So we have a little runway here we could land in if we needed to, but we still have 43% fuel. We're doing fantastic. Okay, good. Little slot canyons feeding in here. Nope. We took the wrong path. Which is fine, it happens. That's why we're flying a little bit high. And why we're flying a most powerful thing, Grand Canyon Barton Airstrip. So I guess this is still considered a part of the Grand Canyon then. This is not what you normally think of when you see the Grand Canyon, though. It's usually those views that are earlier. This is probably the part that people will tightrope walk across, and daredevils will jump across, that kind of stuff. It's probably in this area. I think there's also a restaurant that you can walk around the grass floor out over the canyon somewhere around here. But that's not in the national park area. That's on the Indian reservation part of the canyon. Feeling a little more confident to go a little bit lower. Still going to fly high enough where we can bail out if we need to. Looks like the water's flowing uphill here. Oops. I mean, really, our elevation is not that much. I think we're flying higher over the water than we were before. But that's about it. Ooh, this would be annoying to actually be in the cockpit flying into the sun. Especially with this kind of crazy moves. We'll go a little lower. This is a gnarly bend up ahead. Ooh, let's see how much G-forces we can take. Oh boy. Okay. Same thing with driving, really. Driving is easier in third person than it is in first. You only ever see that, though, in video games. Oh boy, this is a nice, pretty part of the canyon. We're going fast. We let our altitude dip a bit. I think we're catching some updrafts though. Okay, we can move our map down further. We're what about a little more than halfway through the canyon at this point in time. Let's keep zooming in. Wish I could make it follow. Oh wait, just turn on the GPS tracking. There we go. Oh boy. If I was on this plane, I think I would be sick. Would have already happened long since. Okay, we're looking good. 41%. So we'll probably land with about 30% of our fuel if we do better than we did last time. If we get a fairly straight, I may tune into the Las Vegas AirNet. Maybe we'll just try and do a direct landing. I don't know. This seems to be a fairly good spot. Let's just pull this up real quick. Tune to Los Angeles. Let's tune into Colorado City, Grand Canyon Village Airport. St. George, Kanab, Perkin. Nope. Looks like we're too far still, which is fine. Boy, this plane is not gonna be happy with me. Looking good. Yeah, this just must be a different part of the Grand Canyon than one that I'm less familiar with. Huh. I really should do some more exploration of this. This whole reason, it is extraordinarily difficult to get from like Las Vegas to Phoenix, or this whole area is, you know, crossing the Grand Canyon is not easy, and it's not like they're going to build a bridge across it. Yeah, they could cut a road through here, but it's the Grand Canyon. You want to leave it in its pristine beauty, right? You don't want to have this nasty road going all the way through. I don't think I want to take the engines down much. 41%. We're looking pretty good. We can go down a little bit in altitude. Alupai. I think that's the Or is that Havasupai? No. I am pretty sure we're getting some updraft. Which is probably a big part of the reason why we are doing better in a lot of ways. All right, relatively straight segment. This is the furthest part away from the direct line. So at this point in time, we're just going to be going back to the normal. Nice little slot canyons. It's amazing how relatively small this river is, but this is an extraordinarily important river. If it were to ever be seriously damaged, then it would be bad news for a good chunk of the United States. And it is starting to dry up, unfortunately. One of these days, bad stuff is going to happen here for sure. I don't see my wingtip lights on. Oh well. I mean, quite frankly, having our lights on is not going to make much of a difference. If we were to have done this in real life, we'd be in some trouble. I think we're going to go a little bit high. This looks like a narrow section of the canyon. Grand Canyon West. Oh, baby. That was one heck of a turn. Poor passengers, they must be sick. This one's going to be just as bad and a little bit more sustained. All right, pull up. Oh, boy. Oof. Well, that was fun. Gets the juices flowing. This may be... I don't know what this is. Looks like there's some artifacts here. Maybe this is Havasupai Falls. This could be. Whatever it is, it looks gorgeous. Now I think we're starting to get to the point that's a part of Lake Mead. Lake Mead is formed by the Hoover Dam, which for a long time was the largest dam in the world. But no longer, actually. It was built in like the 30s. Okay, this is decent. Let's go a little bit lower. Okay, looking fine. Oh boy. Getting some G-forces in now. Looks like there's some kind of a lake or something ahead here. Oh boy, this area is pretty. I want to take a look and see what's over here. Oh yeah. It's kind of a lake. This is probably Havasupai Falls right here, I bet you. So they don't have the waterfalls in the game, which is too bad, but I can understand why. It would be super hard to model though. And then we're pretty much at Lake Mead at this point in time. Fun fact, I read that one of the best areas to build a dam in the world, if you could do it, would be essentially in the Himalayan mountains. There's this ginormous canyon. Maybe we'll go flying through it. It's hardly ever been set to. It's one of the most remote areas in the world. But if you could build a dam there, then it would be amazing in terms of its power generation capabilities. You know, this Lake Mead and Lake Powell, they are needed for water storage purposes. But they also generate power too, most of the time. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're at Lake Mead now, which means I think it can fly a little bit lower. We'll see if we can buzz any of the, boats and whatnot that are inevitably around here. Buzz with a 2-plane jet too. So since we're at Lake Mead, we're getting fairly close to Vegas. As soon as we get a good turn, then I will check this out. By check this out, I mean try to tune the radio into Vegas. We should be getting fairly close to there. And we are now well out of the Grand Canyon, for sure. We're just going to level flight here, flying over Lake Mead. We're going to see if we can Grand Canyon West. Nope. Mesquites, Boulder City, Laughlin. Vegas Airport should be closer than this. North Las Vegas Airport. Okay, we'll land at the North Las Vegas Airport. I think that's going to be good. Kind of want to land at the bigger one. But further, St. George, North Las Vegas. Okay, this does have... Good. We want to request a full stop landing.
North Las Vegas Tower, Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo is 59 miles east, 3,700 feet with Oscar to land.
Okay.
Fly left traffic runway 12 right, Cessna Romeo Kilo.
Left traffic runway. So that means that, let's see, we're flying 12. So that's going to be to the 12 will be, oh, there it is. It's east-southeast roughly. So we're supposed to do the left-hand turn. So we're going to, I think we're supposed to kind of fly past it a little bit. We turned out of the canyon, but this is fine. We'll hit the pattern here, I guess. Okay, I'm going to crank up the power a little bit more. We'll probably do a bit of a climb, and let's put our camera mode back on to cockpit. Okay, let's see. Weather, we're going to hit the real-time switch. Flip this off, and we'll leave the ATC up. Okay. I'm gonna keep going up. This is, since we're flying actually inside of the cockpit at this point in time, we don't know exactly where. So we're gonna go for about 7,000 feet. We're gonna turn. And follow our flight plan at this point in time. Ooh, this is pretty. 7,000 feet is higher than anything that is in this area. I forgot we were going to fly by Humphreys Peak. Yeah. Maybe we'll do that later. I don't know. I did say that we were going to. Alright, let's see here. We need some lights. So let's see. The lights are over here. Landing lights, strobes. Let's click this and get it to go away. We got the wing lights. Ice protection. Meh. Can we cut up? Gosh, I wish you could see just a little bit higher. Okay, we're looking good. This does look like we're going over Lake Mead still. Almost looks like an ice glacier, actually. But no, this must be more of the main part of Lake Mead. We were in some of the early parts for sure. Looks so strange to see this much water out in the desert. This plane is practically flying itself at this point in time. Don't even have autopilot set. Now, next trip, we're going to go along more of the Colorado River to Las Vegas North. Is this where we're actually headed? I think so. looks like we're dipping down just a scooch, but this is fine. Temple Bar. Yep, we're over Lake Mead at this point in time. A different kind of lake, and definitely not as high as Lake Powell. Lake Powell is like 5,000 or 6,000 feet. You know, when this time we've flown quite a bit lower. Let's increase our speed a little bit. So we were about 50 miles away. We want the tower. ETIS, I don't know what that is. I should. Just for the fun of it, let's turn weather on all the way. Oh boy. Okay, let's zoom in a little bit more, turn on the GPS tracking. Okay, we're a little bit more on track. Getting pretty far away from this temple bar. Seems like we're a little bit faster than we should be. So we were 59 miles to the east from North Las Vegas. It's a pretty light. I wonder what this is. Oh, that's another airplane. Duh. Jeez, we've been so long flying away from airplanes that I forgot what they look like. We're going to request the airport direction.
Las Vegas Tower Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo is unfamiliar with the area. Request directions to the airport.
Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo Airport is 1 o'clock, 28 miles.
1 o'clock, 28 miles. So 28 miles away. We're going to go ahead and slow down a bit. No, we'll go just a tiny scooch. What is this? That must be this plane here? Yeah. We will start to descend, though. Ooh, that's Las Vegas. Kind of tempting to fly through Las Vegas to see how well they've modeled it. Probably not as well as you would think, though. Okay, we're going to slow down for sure. We have several airplanes. We're going to cancel landing intentions.
Las Vegas Tower Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo cancel landing
We're going to enter into the pattern here.
Romeo Kilo Romeo air cancellation is received.
Let's see. Nearest airport list. North Vegas. What's the actual Vegas? Back. Las Vegas approach. Request class speed
Las
trans.
Vegas approach Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo is type Cessna C25C 10 miles north of Kilo Bravo Victor Uniform 10,200 feet. Request clearance to transition Bravo airspace. Cessna Tango Romeo Kilo Romeo Las Vegas approach. Squawk 2605.
Acknowledge squawk code.
Squawk 2605 Cessna Romeo Kilo Romeo.
Okay, we're
Romeo, Kilo Romeo, radar contact 9 miles north of Kilo Bravo, Victor Uniform 8,700.
we're 9 miles. Eesh. We're gonna acknowledge radar contact. So 9 miles.
Through the Bravo airspace, Cessna
We're
Romeo,
going
Kilo Romeo.
300 knots, which means that we'll be there in like a minute or two. Yeah, you see that plane there? That's where we should be. We are way, way over this. We're flying faster than this guy. Okay, let's see here. I mean, let's put flaps out just for this. We'll put our landing gear out. We're just gonna land here. What are they gonna do? Nearest airport list. Tuning into the tower. Request full stop
Las
landing.
Vegas Tower, Cessna Tango Romeo, Kilo Romeo is 5 miles east, 2,900 feet with Mike to land.
Cessna Tango Romeo, Kilo Romeo, Las Vegas Tower.
Oh, good.
Altimeter 30.21100.
That worked out nicer than I thought.
Straight and runway 26 right.
We're a little bit low.
Cessna Romeo, Kilo Romeo, wind 009er at 5. Caution the generic landing runway 26 left. Cleared to land runway 26 right.
Acknowledge landing
Clear to
clearance.
land runway 26 right, Cessna
We're a
Romeo, Kilo
little bit
Romeo.
low. I'm gonna give some power.
5 Valley 7706, follow the aircraft on final. Wind 009er at 5. Cleared to land runway 26
Oh no! Ignore. I don't know why my bandwidth is low. This is weird.
Cleared to land runway 26 right, Pot Valley 7706.
Okay, we'll switch to idle. We're doing fine. Okay, let's get this lined up. Okay, and okay.
Cessna Romeo, Kilo Romeo, exit runway when able.
Acknowledge.
Cessna Romeo, Kilo Romeo, contact ground on 124.4.
Acknowledge ground
124
hideoff.
decimal 4 Cessna Romeo, Kilo Romeo.
Woohoo! Tune into the ground. Request taxi to parking.
Ground Cessna Tango Romeo, Kilo Romeo, taxi to parking.
Cessna Tango Romeo, Kilo Romeo, taxi.
Woohoo, we did it! That was so much easier than the last busy airport that we landed in.
Cross runway 19er left November, cross runway 19er right November Hotel.
Oh, we're crossing a runway.
Taxiing to General Aviation Parking via taxiway Bravo Bravo 5 Charlie Delta November, cross runway 19er
So
left
Bravo
November,
Bravo
cross
5
runway
Charlie
19er
Delta
right
November.
Hotel Cessna Romeo, Kilo Romeo.
Yeah, I do not know all of this, but we'll keep going to the parking. Woohoo! That was a lot better than the last landing. This is... You can land it on a short runway, but man, was not prepared to land this thing for the first time on a short runway. Landing on a short runway is hard. Okay. Looks like we're doing good. Following our proper pathway. General aviation parking. This doesn't look like general aviation parking, does it? Yeah, that's okay. So I think our next flight, we're going to go from here to Tucson, Arizona. Probably the same jet. I'm kind of liking this jet, actually. Just got to land at decent airports, that's all. Henderson Executive. No plane coming. Oh, we have to go all the way around to get to our parking spot. Ah, I see, I see. Lots of kind of generic looking downtown. This does not look like Las Vegas at all. So North Las Vegas is not far from here, and that's where we were going to land. That's probably the more normal place for the small airplanes to land in this area. That's okay. We wanted to get one of the big ones. Actually, hang on. I think our flaps are supposed to be out. I guess we must be hitting these little bumps. We're not really going that fast. Maybe they do stuff. I don't know. Boy, we're having to... This is such a long ways. And then this is the runway that we have to cross, I believe. This is probably even the runway that they would have preferred we landed on. We're going to slow down a little bit here, because this looks like it's a runway, and we probably want to stop. Yep, here's 16. Okay. Don't see anybody coming or going. And, you know, they would have told me. In real life, I probably would confirm before crossing a runway, but this is probably inactive runway, so it's fine. We'll go across it a little quickly. Okay. Looks like we're over at the general aviation area now. Jeez, we still have a long ways to go. Oh, shoot. This is also an active runway. Okay. We probably went off the runway the wrong way entirely. That's fine. This is fine. We're going to power through here a little bit quicker than we probably should, because I'm a little bit tired of taxiing. Oh, I see. We went... Yeah, we landed on this runway. Then we went all the way around back. Crossed the runways. Just so we can make it over here to the general aviation area. Okay. But I think we're almost at our parking spot. Well, we're not going to say anything else to ground. All right. Let's see. Let's turn off our engines. See the avionics. We're going to switch that to off. All right, this looks good. Woohoo! 1 hour of flying through the Grand Canyon. Success achieved. I think we'll call this good enough for the evening. I will continue this journey. Can I do this on Thursday? Probably on Saturday. And then we'll go from there. We'll see. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this journey. Let me know what other questions and comments you guys have. Till next time, keep on tracking. Take care, guys.